And we're back to talk about how all this is impacting the campaign in 2016. Gwen Ifill does double duty at PBS as moderator of Washington Week and co-anchor of the NewsHour. Jerry Seib is the Washington bureau chief for the Wall Street Journal. Ben Domenech is the publisher of the Federalist. And Ed O'Keefe covers politics for the Washington Post. Before we get back to the bad news this week, there was a little good news that is breaking right now from the Atlanta Journal and Constitution. Good news for Jimmy Carter. He announced to his Sunday school class that his last scan means he's cancer-free. The Sunday school class erupted in applause. Gwen, I want to start with you about the news this week. How do you think it's changed the race?
Well, when the argument is about safety and about personal security and domestic security, it changes the race. Right now, that leaves the Democrats we saw come out and talk instantly about gun control, and the president even started to in his interview with Norah O'Donnell, and then he pulled back a little bit afterward when he began to get obviously more information about what happened in San Bernardino. For Republicans, it's going to be a variation of what we've seen so far, which is how can we be more alarmist than the last guy? So we saw Chris Christie this morning talking about it, and at the same time taking little jabs at other candidates. We saw, of course, Donald Trump talking about political correctness as the root of all evil. And once you begin to move the discussion that way, instead of what can you really do about it, and when you asked Donald Trump that, his answer was basically you wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see, Ben. What do you think?
You know, I think it was interesting to see the reaction this week from the New York Times, running that front page editorial as they did, going after the gun issue. I think that there is a real gap between what the president is saying and what people understand as the reality of this situation. You are not going to defeat these elements of radicalized Islam in this country with gun control measures. That was not going to be something that would have prevented what happened in San Bernardino any more than you are going to defeat ISIS with a conference about the weather. This is not something that you are going to be able to achieve, and I think that the president in his address tonight is probably going to speak to these issues further, but Republicans actually, I think, have the wind at their back when they are running this criticism that basically the president is out of touch with reality and that this gun control measure, any gun control measure, is not the real solution.
Jerry, where do you see the debate going from here?
Well, I agree with Ben. I think by and large, if security is the top issue, that probably tilts the dialogue a little bit toward the Republicans. We'll see how Hillary handles it. She's been trying all along to sound a little tougher than the president on all these issues, Syria, ISIS, and she'll continue to do that, I think. A couple of effects I think you saw right away. The Ben Carson fade continued because you don't want to look as if you're either too soft-spoken or inexperienced right now, and he's both. That doesn't work to his benefit. Chris Christie, I think, has found a voice in a moment here. I mean, he talks about 7 years' experience as a prosecutor handling terrorism cases. Well, this is a tailor-made moment for that. We'll see how far he can take that. And Bernie Sanders had a little bit of a hard time getting people to focus on income inequality in the last couple of weeks.
Right, the race has kind of gone away to a set of issues that aren't great for Bernie Sanders.